and gentlemen, the books is in. The books are in. Yep. They in. They're here.
Peace, and Black African power. Welcome back to Kofi Piesie TV. Today, we have a special guest. This is our 16th interview on Warrior Scholars. We got brother Concrete Cory of the Pseudo Killers, who's on a panel. Before we get started, real quick, let me jump and share my screen, and after I get through doing this, we can start the interview. Hold on one sec. Let me go back up here. Boy, I need my glasses on. All right. Let me share my screen. Share my screen. Share. Concrete Cory, can you see my screen?
Yep, I can see it.
All right. Let me make sure they can see it on the other end. Real quick. What is you laughing for, Shawn? Shawn, Rick crazy self in the chat.
Shawn a troll, man.
That's all he is. Arab troll. Arab troll. I told him he didn't study them Arab so much he done turned it to an Arab troll. That's what I'm gonna start calling. Yeah, welcome back. Like I said, welcome back to Kofi Piesie TV. Please like and share the show. Also, I want to say Happy Father's Day to the fathers out there. Happy Father's Day. Again, this is the 16th show of Warrior Scholars with our good brother Concrete Cory. Let me blow this up real quick so they can see that better. Peace. I see my wife in the chat. Peace, wifey. All right. As I learn, we all learn. Everybody know that we follow that motto over here. As I learn, we all learn. We must not let our ancestors down. We definitely are not letting our ancestors down. Also, we always dedicate the show to an ancestor over here. So today we want to dedicate the show to Martin Delany. I'm going to read something real quick for those that may not know who brother Martin Delany is. Let me see if I can go back here real quick. All right, I'm going to be reading from off Mossi laptop. Just brief information for people who may not know who Martin Delany is. But Martin Robertson Delany, I don't know, do I want to read that? Okay, was born May the 6th, 1812, January the 24th, 1885, was an African American abolitionist, journalist, physician, soldier, and a writer, arguably the first proponent of Black nationalism. Delany is credited for Pan-African slogans and slogans of African Americans. Again, I want to say Majuba Iba to Martin Delany. Majuba Iba to Martin Delany. Please, as y'all come in, please like and share the show. Please share the show with those that you think that may be interested in this interview. before we get started, we always have to break down some terms. What is a warrior and what is a scholar? A warrior is from the North French soldier, combative, warrior, wage war. Warrior, a person engaged in experience of warfare. Broadly, a person engaged in struggle, conflicts. Scholars, a person who attends a school or studies under teacher, pupil. Second, a person who has done advanced studies in special fields. Learned person, a holder of scholarship. Scholar, a person who studies in detail, especially universities. All right, my perspective of what a warrior scholar is. My meaning of a warrior scholar is someone who is well waged in war against true pseudoisms and willing to stand on the battlefield against institutions and platforms that promote that. A warrior scholar is someone who is on a mission for the truth, for accurate and sound information. A warrior scholar is one who has discipline and good character, moral, and willing to fight back against those who use information dangerous. The child's perspective of what a warrior scholar is. A warrior scholar is one who embark on the journey of self-mastery through rigorous and physical training to an effort to better one's state of being. A warrior is one who has embarked on a journey of self-mastery through the countless hours of meditation in an effort to learn the arts of stillness, becoming harmonious with the environment and all existence. A warrior is molded, guided, and torn down and built so that their people may live and continue to proliferate. Those who seek this path know that the invaluable gifts of humanity is those that are placed amongst the hierarchy of their people. But what does a warrior scholar has? What do a warrior have to do with a scholar? A scholar is one who embodies all the concepts mentioned above with the focus of geared toward scientific literacy and literacy as a whole. One must first be able to read and then develop superb reading and comprehension skills in order to properly relay the message received through one's scholastic endeavors. Proper demonstration and methodology and a style of discipline, a field of study, the only way to reach a proper conclusion. So a warrior scholar is one who fights on behalf of universal truth, one who seeks truly sets a standard of truly standard of combat to omnipresent misinformation. One who stays in their lane, humility, and does not portray themselves as a master swordsman if they specialize in a spear. Also, if you want your Warrior Scholar shirts, go to our apparel, Mboka FamilyConnectApparel.com and get your Warrior Scholar shirts or some of our other dope merch that we got out on the website. Real quick, two beautiful lessons about Kimoyo. That is my new book that is coming out this Friday, June the 25th. I will have a virtual book release / celebration on the 25th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It will be on the Pseudo Killers channel. It will be hosted by Unc West and LaDosha Wright. This is one of the old flyers. LaDosha Wright. We have music performance by T'Challa. Music performance by Raka Eshu as well. A lot of guest speakers. One of the guys that I'll be interviewing today will also be one of the guest speakers who will also be on the panel. So let's get into the interview. Let me stop sharing my screen real quick. All right. Again, I want to say peace and Black African power. Welcome back, Brother Cory, to Kofi Piesie TV, man. We're glad to have you on the channel. For those that may not know who this brother is a member of the Pseudo Killers, a brilliant brother in his own right, intelligent brother. I definitely appreciate this brother. So, Brother Cory, if can you briefly introduce yourself, man, to the people that is watching?
Right on. Peace, Kofi. Appreciate you taking the time to have me on and do the interview and all that. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. They call me Concrete Cory. You know what I mean? I'm one of the members of the Pseudo Killers. everybody that that tune into the Pseudo Killers, they know that I'm astrophysics enthusiast, but my day job is I'm a cement mason. I'm a union cement mason. So that's me briefly.
All right, hold on 1 second. Let me hook this darn thing up. All right, Mike. All right, can you still hear me, Corey?
Yep, loud and clear.
All right, man. So let me get to the questions, man. All right, man. Every interview that we have, Corey, we the basic 2 questions, man, that we always ask each person that comes on. Name some of your favorite warrior scholars.
Oh man, some of my favorite, the top favorite is Neil deGrasse Tyson. He an astrophysicist. He real popular. He do a lot of TV programs. He got a TV program called The Cosmos, which he took the reins from a dude named Carl Sagan, and so he kind of took the reins and kept it going, basically in the same direction that Carl Sagan was going with it. And Lawrence Krauss is one of my favorites. One of my other top favorites, Amos Wilson. I mean, that brother is. I love to listen to his lectures. I mean, I can listen to his lectures, for hours on end, and over and over again. I probably done heard all his lectures, Brother Amos Wilson, but I listen to him over and over again, man. So those are some of my favorite scholars. I can't forget about Lawrence Krauss, Hakeem Olajuwon. These are all astrophysicists. Hakeem Olajuwon is a mathematician. So those are some of my favorite scholars. They all write. I like those scholars because they're good at writing books for the layman or for the enthusiast. So that's why I really like those scholars.
No doubt. We gonna talk about Neil deGrasse here in a little bit. As well, I knew that I figured you was gonna probably name him as one of your warrior scholars. I got a few books by him too. I might jump in when we get to the astrophysics part. I might jump and go get a book or two from Neil deGrasse.
I got a few that I would really recommend buying once we get into that.
Okay, no doubt. So and with that, man, name the last book you read or the book you are currently reading.
The last book I read was Welcome to the Universe by Neil deGrasse Tyson. Right now I'm reading, I can't think of the name of it right now. I just purchased it. It just came in. Actually, I ain't even read it yet, but it's written by Hakeem Olajuwon, and it's basically about particle physics and mathematics, the mathematics of particle physics. I believe that's the title of it. Don't quote me on that. I'm gonna go grab it. It's in the basement here shortly once we get to that part. But yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, Welcome to the Universe is the last one. I just closed that one off. That was a really good one. I'm one who like pictures. You know what I'm saying? I love pictures. So people who write books, all of the astrophysicists that write books, and anybody, even if you're doing like anthropology or some type of archaeology or something like that, I love the pictures and graphics and different like graphs to help me to understand. And so that Welcome to the Universe, he really did good with that, and with the pictures and the graphs and figures and everything like that. So
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to write that down because I don't have that one. Yeah. So why do they call you Concrete Cory, man? Why they call you Concrete Cory?
Well, I'm a cement mason, so I deal with concrete. You know, I build and maintain the infrastructure, and most of the infrastructure that you see is built out of steel and concrete. And so, you know, that's kind of where I got my name from.
All right. So what kind of role do concrete play in the world, Concrete Cory? Because we you know we take that for granted now, or we don't pay attention to that, man. You know, the importance of concrete, man. So what kind of role for people that may not know? Okay, we're talking about concrete now. So they talking about concrete, but what kind of role do concrete play in the world?
Well, it plays a major role in the world. I mean, you know, I always like to point out the food that you're gonna have on your plate today. It probably traveled an average of 1,200 miles to get to your plate. And so, like, that right there it always stuck to me when I heard that statistic. But concrete plays a lot of different roles. It's pretty sanitary after it's set up. You know, once it's hardened, it's pretty sanitary. So, you know, the bottom of your water treatment plants, the bottom of the tanks is concrete. You know, the tank is basically made out of steel and concrete. So all of the water, you know, that's been filtered and treated and all of that, it goes through this filtration system and it sits in these tanks. And these tanks help filtrate the water too. But all those tanks, they made out of concrete and steel. You know, it helps keep like disease away, because anytime you got stagnant water, like water puddles and things like that, you get things that grow in those water puddles. You know, animals urinate and you know, they go to the bathroom in those water puddles and they drink out of those water puddles. So you get disease. And this is kind of plays back to like Europe and the bubonic plague and all of that. You know, when you have a community, when you have a city, stagnant water, meaning standing water or water in a puddle or something, it's always bad to see water being in a puddle when you in a city or a community and things like that, because that's how disease gets passed from one to another, and that's where disease grows and those type of things. So when you think about like the bubonic plague and things like that, it's because of not being sanitary, not having a way to wash away, you know, a sewer system, and all of that's built into your streets. Your sewer systems are built into the curbs of the streets, and all that's made out of concrete. And so concrete helps that water flow. You know what I mean? Even up towards your house, you know, you always want to have nice, good, clean a driveway. You don't want to have cracks and things into your driveway, because once you got cracks and uneven driveway, then that creates a puddle. And you carry that back in your house, you know, especially if you got carpet. I tend to try to stay away from carpet, but people who got carpet, you got a dirty driveway, everything in your driveway, when you walk in the house, you're bringing that into your house. You know what I'm saying? So
and that's I didn't mean to cut you out, but that's kind of that was gonna lead up to another question. So basically you're talking about infrastructure when infrastructure is poor, because one of the questions was I was going to ask was infrastructure, what infrastructure has to do with community health, or what, with community health. And that's what I was talking about earlier when we was building off, was when you was when Unc interviewed you last year, like that stuck in my head. I never thought about if you got poor infrastructure in places where you talk about like you're talking about now, you're talking about water puddles, cracks in the cement, bushes growing up, rodents. I think you mentioned rodents or something.
Yep.
Beginning to come out. You mentioned disease a while ago. So,
Mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes. So poor. So kind of go a little bit more into that. So, because that I'm saying that really, like, that whole interview that you did last year, that kind of stuck out with me. Like, damn. So poor infrastructure equals, what I'm saying, bad health. You know what I'm saying? So
you
yeah,
100% right. And not only is it bad for your health, it's bad for the economy. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna continue on with the health thing for a minute, but once you mention infrastructure as a whole, you're really talking about the economy.
Mm-hmm.
So but also a part of infrastructure is things like your healthcare facilities, hospitals, and things like that. Because I build those too. I build hospitals, high-rise buildings. You know what I'm saying? Hospitals is a high-rise building, and most of your hospitals is made out of mostly concrete and steel. That's what a real hospital is made out of, concrete and steel. Now you have your little small clinics and medical offices, but the steel, the floor, the sidewalk outside, everything is made out of concrete. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's very, very important, and people don't realize when it rains. Sometimes you hear about an inch of rain. And that don't sound like much, but an inch of rain is equivalent to 1 foot of snow. You know what I'm saying? And so when you get an inch of rain, that's a lot of water. That's quite a bit of water. And on a nice summer day, it might pour down raining for an hour. You might have got 3/4 of an inch to an inch of rain in that hour. But people don't realize that all of that water went somewhere, and it's due to the concrete. And a lot of people got asphalt streets and everything, but their curb and gutter is made out of concrete. You see what I'm saying? So you got a curb in a gutter out in front of your house, or if I don't know, wherever you ride down the street and you see a sewer system, you're gonna have a curb and gutter system. And so that curb is always gonna be made out of concrete, and that's what helps that water flow to the concrete. Got so much slope to it, it's laid out. The engineers lay it out to where the concrete is sloping to one direction, and also is sloping to one side of the street. So sometimes you might look at the street, it's kind of got a little crown in the middle of the street. That's pushing that water towards that gutter line, so it can go on down and go down into that sewer line, keeping that stagnant water away, keeping the mosquitoes and the animal feces and the guy that got shot down the street, he bled out in the street. You know what I mean? That all washes away. You know what I'm saying? That's all able to wash away. You know what I mean? When you have good infrastructure, when you got concrete and asphalt too. You know what I mean? But I wanted to say too, the economy. So when you have poor infrastructure. Now, let's say I have a delivery company. Let's even take Amazon, for example, and some of these grocery store chains. I know people go to Trader Joe's and such. I don't know what kind of grocery stores everybody got, but your grocery stores, the products have to be shipped there. First by a plane. It may be go first by a plane. It might go first by a train, but how it's gonna get to that store is through a truck, and that truck got to cross so many bridges to get to that to get to that store. Now, most of the time, food has a time limit on it. So if the infrastructure is crumbling, if the streets got potholes in it, the bridge is shut down because you can't drive on that bridge. You got to take a detour because somebody's tire popped off of their car, and traffic is backed up because they hit a pothole in it. All this is taking the time off of that truck. And I think it's somewhere, each city, I think it's each city. No, not each city. Each state loses somewhere like $500 million in products and goods due to traffic jams, and the time expired because of the truck. So billions and billions of dollars is being lost every year due to poor infrastructure. And so I just really wanted to make that point. I also wanted to say, like, my trade, it's a real tough trade, and our members are getting older and older and older. We're not really getting younger tradesmen. And so, I just wanted to stress that point, that we need, younger people to, find interest in the trades, and realize that the trades is how you control the economy. The trades is everything. Nothing goes without the trades. Nothing can work without a tradesman. So,
Cory, so why do you think, like you just mentioned, why do you think a lot of people is not interested in the trade, like far as like the young people? We look over there, we try to push our kids to go into the college field, because I mean, like some of the stuff you talking about, like you already going into like some of the questions already that I want to ask. No, you good. No, you good, yeah. you good. And because me growing up and me being in high school, trade, going to vocational schools, trade schools, that was looked down upon. I'm just saying, I'm from Mississippi, so that never did. So, and a lot of us looked at like going to trade schools and getting a trade was bad. In order for us to make it, this is how we was taught. In order for us to make it, we had to go to college. We had to go to college, and we had to go get a degree. And then if we wanted to make more money, we had to go back after we graduated after 4 years and, get our master's degree. And if we wanted to make a little bit more money, we had to go back to school and, get our doctoral degree. But I know a lot of people and a lot of my kinfolks, and including me, that has a degree, not even working in the field that we went to school to get a degree in, or we having trouble finding a job for what we went to school for. You know what I'm saying? So, kind of talk about, in your own opinion, why you feel like that trade is not important. Because I see it with you mentioning it now, it must be the same way where you at, you know what I'm saying? Because you're saying it's dying out and y'all need more young people, you know what I'm saying? So can you talk about that?
Well, I think right now today what's quote unquote sexy is being in the IT, coding and things like that, which is good, and I think we do need a lot of people to be into that. But in my community, people kind of look down on it, like you said in your community, like if you ain't smart enough to go to college, then you need to go get a trade, so
right.
They put it as if you're not smart, you know what I mean? But trades not only have to do, I mean being a carpenter, you got to be pretty intelligent. They do some math work that's pretty in depth, carpenters do. Electricians, I mean, you basically, as an electrician, when you become a journeyman electrician, you basically got a bachelor's degree, and you can go even higher. You can become an electrical engineer. So like when you get these trades, it's more in depth than just working with your hands. But I think a lot of people, and what I see too, is a lot of people get intimidated, about signing up for the trades. It's like, Yeah, I can't go on that big job site. You know what I mean? I don't know what I'm doing. You know, I don't know how to build a hospital or a bridge or anything like that. And the thing is that you don't have to know how to build a hospital. You don't have to know how to build a bridge. All you have to do is learn your skill in your trade and do that. You don't do everything on everybody doesn't lay the steel on the bridge. Only the iron workers deal with the steel on the bridge. You know, everybody don't deal with the concrete on the bridge. Only the cement masons deal with the concrete. You know what I mean? And so like you you have to know that it's not as intimidating as some people think it is, and I just think that's a big issue too. I see that a lot with some of the younger guys that when we do have younger guys, they don't last long. You know, it's aggressive. It's a man's game. You know, you gotta put your big boy pants on when you come out there in the field, when you're working in construction, when you're working around them iron workers and them brickies and you know what I mean, them carpenters and all that. These boys get up at 4 a.m, go to work every day. They put their big boy pants on. So, you know, they might talk a little rough to you, and you know what I mean. So it's a little bit intimidating, and I see that, but I'm thinking that, you know, we gotta kind of grow up a little bit here in our, especially in the Black community. You know, we get a little sensitive by what people say or how people say something to you. You know what I'm saying? We let that get in the way of real opportunity. You know, so I think that, and with the IT and all of that, and the way the community looks down on it. You know what I mean? I think all that plays a part in why the trades is dying, especially in the Black community. You know.
Yep. Yeah, that's sad, man, and we need to do better with that, man, because we need y'all, man. We definitely need y'all, man. And like you said, you know, and that, like you said a while ago, that's what was going on. Like with me coming up was, you know, if you ain't gonna go to college or you ain't smart enough to go to college, then go get you a trade.
Yeah,
go get you a trade. So you know, it's been instilled in us that, you know, if you ain't gonna go to college or you ain't smart, you weren't smart in high school and you barely got out of high school, so we know you're not gonna make it in college or even get accepted to go to college. Mm-hmm. Why not, you know, go and get you just go get you a trade? And that's how I looked at it. You know, with me growing up, I didn't want to get a trade because, you know, that's all the talk I would hear. You know what I'm saying? You know, the dumb, you know, they didn't per se say that, but, you know, just, you know, with them saying, you know, not going to school. So I took it as, okay, well, if you ain't smart enough, you ain't gonna do nothing, then you know, then go get
implies. It's implying that you ain't smart enough.
Right, man.
Know? So yeah, it kind of plays a part in the decision making as far as you know, the younger generation. And like I said, you know, nobody want to, you know, who wants to be out there sweating, you know, in 100-degree weather, you know what I'm saying, on the bridge or on a hospital, or, you know, when you could be in the office, you know what I'm saying, with a suit and tie on with the air conditioning, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But see, me, I always thought, you know, why would I want somebody else to build the building that I work in? You know, why can't I be the one that built the building? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That made it comfortable for the guy to go in there in the air conditioning and sit down, you know, with the coffee machine and the rest of it, and the water cooler and all of the perks that come with the office job, you know. So, you know, I think the office jobs is a lot more sexier than, you know, being out there on the highway, you know what I'm saying?
It really shouldn't matter that the check is what's, you know, you want to use the term sexy. The check is what's sexy. That's what's sexy. You know what I'm saying? When that check come in, or you know, when you supporting your family, that's what's sexy. When you keeping food on the table for your family, you know, that should be sexy. You know, it shouldn't matter, you know, if a job, you know, is a job, as long as you providing, you know, for your family, you know, a stable place, you know, for your family. That should be sexy. It shouldn't matter about what you're doing, you know what I'm saying, in particular, you know. But yeah, you know, that's how it is. And I want to talk a little bit more about trade and college, and even just I want to read something about what trade school is for people that may not know what trade school is. But before that, you know, you talked about the concrete and building the bridges and the steel. Now I don't know if you noticed the thumbnail, it has your face on it, but in the background of the thumbnail, I don't know if you paid attention, it's you are in front of a bridge, a concrete bridge. You saw that? Okay.
Yeah.
And it's water. So I'm this is a question for me, man. I just been, you know, I always wondered, like when I'm going to, you know, like I'm maybe about 45 minutes away from Louisiana. So when I go to New Orleans, I'm going over this long bridge, man. This to get to New Orleans, and it ain't nothing but water. So and I'm like, I'm always wondering, how in the heck is they building these bridges on top of this water, man? So can you kind of break that down to me, man, and explain what is the process they have or y'all have to go through in order to get these bridges above the water so people can drive, you know, on top of the water to get to from A to B?
And so yeah, and I'm glad you asked that question, because this highlights kind of what I said earlier about being intimidated to come out there. So you don't have to know everything. So I just happen to know. I just happen to know because I've been doing it for a long time. So I understand each step to building the bridge. So what they do is these operating engineers, they come out and they have a pile, they have what you call a pile driver. And they drive these pilings down into the water. First let me tell you, they bring a dredge ship through. I don't know if you know what dredging is, but dredging is a ship that goes and pulls the material from the bottom of the river, lake, or what have you, whatever the bridge is going over, you know. So you got dirt and sand and rock basically on the bottom of that river, you know. So they go and dredge it out, and it's called dredging because what they're doing is separating the water from the material. You see what I'm saying? And basically they actually recycle that material, because that material acts as an aggregate in the cement, but that's for another conversation later. It's actually offshore quarries. I don't know if a rock quarry is where you get your concrete from, and they actually have offshore quarries. They got one here in Chicago. Well, I'm not in Chicago, but here in Lake Michigan, they have an offshore quarry. But after they dredge it down so far, because what they're trying to do is reach bedrock. And now you're not going to reach bedrock by dredging, right? What you're doing is basically loosening up that sediment that's been there for so long, you know, and you actually getting lower than where you were. So so what they do is they bring in this pile driver, and this pile driver drives these pilings, big giant pilings, down into the ground until they hit bedrock, you know. And it takes days in order to get these pilings. Even one piling takes a couple days to reach bedrock. But once that piling, and that piling is basically a pipe, a big iron, a big old steel pipe, and it's coated with anti-corrosive coating on it. You know what I'm saying? And so basically it's painted with some anti-corrosive paint, because you know, water, oxygen, metal, that you got a recipe for corrosion, right? So when these have to be treated and painted, these pilings, with anti-corrosion sealer on them. And so once these pilings reach bedrock, what they do is they pump these pilings full of what's called hydraulic concrete. And this hydraulic concrete will get hard underwater. and so that's why they call it. Any concrete will get hard underwater, but this particular concrete is particularly designed to be underwater. And so they pump these pilings with the hydraulic concrete. Now you have these. Then you they drill an epoxy big bolts down to where the bedrock is at and all that, and you have these underwater welders, these iron workers who are trained to dive. Not only are they professional divers, but they're professional welders, and they go down and they weld these pilings and secure them. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically what the bridge is sitting on these pilings, basically. So if that gives you a clue, then then we're able to build. They're able to add the rest of the steel and erect, basically erect the rest of the bridge based on those footings and those pilings. So
Yeah, and I remember one of my Masonic brothers before he moved to Texas. He'd been to Texas for a while, but I remember he was welding and he was telling me something about diving and welding, but I didn't understand what he was talking about. I think he was wanting to try to do that. Is
not to interrupt you, but their average pay is like $150,000 a year. That's average. I'm sure I live like an hour away from Chicago. If you go to Chicago, they probably making $250,000 a year, and they don't go to work every day. You know what I mean?
Right.
They go when they as needed, and that's how much money they make. So that tells you how having that skill. You know what I'm saying? Nobody can, and Kofi, no matter what happens, nobody can fire them. I mean, the company, maybe one company can fire them, but that skill they can take with them for the rest. Nobody can ever take that skill away from them. You see what I'm saying? They don't have to have a company to work for in order to make money off of that skill, off of diving and welding. You see what I'm saying? So I just be wanting people to understand that about having a trade. Nobody can take that away from you. You know what I mean? So that's very important to hold on.
Yeah, you gotta be a beast to do that, man. Is it those particular skill set, particular trade? Is it scarce for or y'all? It's plentiful in that area where y'all have these divers, that these welding divers, or it's scarce, or I mean it's very scarce in that field.
Well, I mean, if we need a diver, if a bridge company needs to hire some guys who know how to do that, they won't have a problem getting that, especially around here. You know what I mean? The trades is a big thing around in Indiana and Illinois. You know what I mean? Being unionized is a real issue around here. So they don't have a issue, but I'm going to say it ain't a lot of us. I mean, if that's the question,
Right.
To get at is definitely it's scarce on that point as far as we go. As far as Black people go, but no, they would for the most part. A lot of people pass their trade downs to their nephews, to their sons, to their grandsons, and what have you. So most of the people in the trades are, family members. You know what I mean? And they kind of keep it tight like that, especially around here. I kind of frown on that myself. I like to spread it out. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, we ain't getting no younger. I'm one of the younger guys in my hall, actually. My hiring hall. And yeah, we not getting as many apprentices as we were at one point in time.
Wow. And I already know the answer to the question now, but one of the questions, and I want to read something about trade schools, or or just get somebody some basic knowledge about trade school. But is trade school just as important as college? And so I've been, you know, when me interviewing me saying I'm gonna interview you, and you know, we talked last week, and you know, you wanted to talk about trade, so I said I'm gonna try to make sure that before we get into the other stuff, I definitely wanted to talk about trade. So I wanted to look at, you know, a few lit things too, far as trade school versus colleges. What's some of the benefits, you know what I'm saying, are coming straight out of college, not college, but coming straight out of high school, and I'm going to a straight trade school, you know what I'm saying, what's some of the benefits of going to college? You know, so I wanted to look at two of those real quick. But trade school, trade school is typically admitted general education of liberal art classes. Instead, they offer dedicated training in specific skill vocations for the reason some people call these institutions vocational schools, an umbrella term that can be encompass careers and technical schools as well.
Mhm.
Though these terms are sometimes used interchangeable, they are subtle different. Do you agree with that?
Oh, 100%. I actually couldn't have worded it no better than that. Because and I think it's, and this is just my opinion, and it's for people, I guess it's for people who like me. You know what I mean? People who think the way that I think. It's more beneficial than college because you're only being trained in the field that you're gonna be working in, and you're guaranteed a job. You know, you're actually at work learning. You know, I was on the job learning. Now I had a lot of class hours, but for the most part, everything I learned was in the field. You know, I learned in class, you learn more about safety, and they kind of teach you how to own your own business, and how to quote jobs and figure material and things like that. So the schooling is very, very important because it helps you to be independent, not depend on these major companies, these major bridge building operations, or these, you know, these major commercial building operations. You want to, they try to show you that there's a guy who barely knows his trade, who barely knows this trade, I guess I should say, who's getting paid for doing somebody's grandmother's driveway, who don't really have the skill set that you have. So why, after you get off of work from working for the bridge company, on the weekends you can go and do your jobs on the side and do these people's driveways, you know, or help your aunt out build you know, a fire pit out back where she, you know, she would pay somebody thousands of dollars to do, when you can go over there and help her or do it for a cheaper price or whatever, you know, what have you. You know, this helps you be independent. You know what I'm saying? Being with the class time. So I think it actually prepares young men and women for the world better than college, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And that's just
Yep.
my opinion.
Yep, mine too. You know, like I said, me looking at things, and like you mentioned, it teaches you independence. It teaches you to, you know, to be a boss, own your own business versus, you know, going to work for somebody else's. You know what I'm saying? When you're dealing with the school, I put that up there. I am Sosa said, man, you got the God acting above your head. He's talking about the little sun you got on top of your head.
What's the sun gift, man? I'm like Jesus, man. I'm trying to be like Jesus around here, man.
Yeah. And so yeah, man, and with me looking at, you know, me looking at that, I saw that just, you know, reading a couple of lit journals, man, and researching a few lit things, man. Looking on some of the trade schools, and you know, just looking at some of the college, you know, and I got some college experience myself, and I was just, you know, like I was saying, like going to trade school, like I just read out some of like some going to trade school, like some of the trades that you probably could get: plumbing, electrician. You mentioned electrician earlier, which electricians make damn good money too.
Good money. Good money. Good
Commercial truck drivers, home inspectors. Yeah, and I know some home inspectors that make some good money, man. They come out, man, shooting, they inspecting your home. Sometimes they inspecting your home at $3,000, $2,000 to inspect your home. So, nursing assistant, dental hygienist, massage therapist, locksmith, respiratory therapist, welders, carpenters. So, these are some of the careers, and some of these careers, actually make money. And some of these careers are these when you go into trade schools, I looked at it like, okay, it's teaching me independence. That's a plus. It's teaching me to be a boss and, owning my own business, and a skill set that they can never take no one can never take away from me. Versus and that plus going like some of these trades, man, what is like a year, some of them 6 months, some of them a year and a half, versus you going to school for 4 years, or you going to school for 6 years. It just all depends on what you going to school for. So immediately you can go get these trades.
Yeah.
And within a year, you on somebody's job making some serious money.
And for the most part, so like you're an apprentice for usually, as far as what I've seen. I don't know if things are different state to state, but our international covers 3 states. So and usually you're an apprentice for 4 years. Mm-hmm. You got 2 years worth of class time, but they break that up throughout the 4-year period. You know what I'm saying? So that you're spending most of your time in the field. They don't want you like going to school for a month, then be in the field for a month. They want you to go to school for a week and then be in the field for a month and then go to school for another week. You know what I'm saying? So they spread it out. That way you have most of your time in the field. So usually it's about 2 years of class time, but it'll usually take about 4 years to become a journeyman tradesman. Okay. So just to let people understand that, and what that means is it's a lot to learn. One thing about trades, being in the trades, you learn something new every day, So even when I've been doing this for 15 years, Kofi, like I learn something new, not every day, but once a month, I always learn something different, a different way to do things, a different way to approach the situations. And so you just learn how to be better prepared. In concrete, you only got a certain amount of time. It's going to get you got a 90-minute window from when it leaves, from when the concrete truck left the bat shop to when it gets to the job site. So you always got to be, thinking 3 or 4 steps ahead of the game. You know what I'm saying? And so I always kind of learn better ways to kind of be ahead of the game. And I noticed that for every trade, you always want to kind of have a vision and understand the steps you need to take before you need to take them in any given situation, because every day you're in a different situation. And that's the part I enjoy the most about being a cement mason, about being a tradesman, is when I go to work, it's not the same thing. I'm not going to work and punching the clock and saying hi to Kathy and walk over to the water cooler and then sit at my desk and do the same thing over and over and over and over again. I really appreciate that about my job. It's something different every single day, and, I don't punch a time clock. I get out on the job site and, the foreman, if I'm not the foreman, he takes jots the time down. You know what I'm saying? So it's not so much people over your head. You kind of free. You know what I'm saying? To do your trade and make your money. So, you know, it's not such a being locked into a building and into a set schedule every day. It's kind of different. So that's one thing I wanted to highlight about being a tradesman.
Yeah, man. I got respect, man, for y'all. Like you said, you got to be a man. Woo!
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you gotta put your big boy pants on, Kofi. You know what I mean? You know, it's. I mean, just think you out there with all alpha males, man, and it's 100 degrees outside. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
it get testy sometimes, you know, but you know, it's all good. For the most part, everybody know we out there. We all trying to achieve the same goal or work towards a common goal. And so, you know, we help each other out. We don't step on each other's toes. Everybody respects each other. You know what I'm saying? And things be cool like that, you know. Like you say, with all alpha males, because you know it takes, you know, and I hate to say that, but and I know some tough women that's out there with us and been out there for years with me. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, it's usually you know, building bridges and high-rise buildings and stuff. It's usually a lot of men in that. But I would encourage the sisters to get involved in the trades too. You know what I'm saying? Become an electrician. You don't have to do. You don't have to be an iron worker or a cement mason, or you know, you can be an electrician. You know what I'm saying? You can be a general laborer. You know, that's a skill. You know, being a general laborer, being able to understand what those tradesmen need before they need it, and you getting that material to them or whatever, or they tools to them. You know what I'm saying? And making sure they able to do their trade. You know, without having to go look for, you know, material or tools and things like that, you know.
Yeah, Sarah say he's a applicant technician. He makes $85K a year. He said he loves his job. Like
Yeah,
Cory
technical.
Said,
that's a technical job right there. You know, that's hands-on, you know what I mean? Like you know, this thing when the power go out at my house, Kofi, I don't know about you, but I'm helpless. You know,
man, I'm helpless too. I'd be snapping.
I got all women. You know, my boy, he 21, but I got all girls here, you know, with me in the house. You know what I'm saying? My power go out, I'm at the whim of, you know what I'm saying? I can't do nothing but sit here and hope and pray, you know? But, you know, people who actually have, it's people who got those skills. When you look outside, you see them people up there on them power lines working on that to get your power back. You know that those people got the skills to do the job, to fix the power so that you can get your air conditioning on. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, you can get the refrigerator running and things like that, you know? So, you know, it takes we need those skilled people, all those technical jobs, man. All those electrical technical. And that's where the trades is going nowadays, you know, with robotics and 5G. All of the people with the technical skills are going to be the ones making the money. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to fix this stuff. You got to build it and you got to maintain it. And the maintaining is being able to fix it. You see what I'm saying? You can't always come in and put something new. You got to know how to fix it sometimes. Right. So, you know, that's a part of building and maintaining the infrastructure right there. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. And man, while we talking about that, I'll lead this for the last question for this, and then we'll move into something else because we're approaching an hour. Why do you why is the infrastructure, man, in Africa so poor, man? Why is it so, you know, they
was underdeveloped, and I see, and I tell my wife that's my dream is to go over there to Ghana and build bridges over there in Ghana. So when I retire, that's what I plan on doing. I'm planning on moving my company to Ghana, at least starting the company in Ghana, and that way I can help them build their infrastructure, at least their bridges and things like that. But it was underdeveloped, and I think that when you're in a place like Ghana, I think you can get comfortable real easy. And I don't think it's always been necessary to have the type of infrastructure that's necessary today in today's world. So I think they were able to go a long period of time without that being a real necessity for the economy to be okay. You know what I'm saying? Um, See, right now they power grid is very poor. They don't have a good power grid at all. They have these long, dragged out power outages over there.
Yep.
Traffic is ridiculous over
Yep.
there. I mean, you think you're in New York everywhere
Yep.
when you're in Ghana. So, like I said, they had been underdeveloped, and then now you find yourself in the 21st century, and you really need to have that infrastructure, and when you should have had that infrastructure. So I just think they got comfortable, man. For me, I don't really know much about the government, but from what I've read, I see that. I just think they went along for a long period of time, and they didn't need that kind of infrastructure.
And they definitely need it, man. They definitely need it, and they have a few countries, and I don't understand. I don't understand why a few countries have tried to invest money and get investors in to help with the infrastructure, to make their infrastructure, and a few places that attempted to, well, the few that I know of that attempted to try, the process, they got it started, and then all of a sudden they just stop with the funding, and they stop with the processing of getting the stuff that they need to build, that they need, better roads,
The funding, man. I think it's the funding. If the funds ain't there, you can't. You got to shut it down. Really, you know what I mean? Because the material is very expensive to build infrastructure. I mean, material is 50% of the your overhead. You know what I'm saying? If not more. So
yeah, and it's crazy when you the funds, the finance, like Africa, sustains the whole world. It has the most natural resources, man. In the ground, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's looking to Africa. That's why you see so many people go into Africa, and that's why colonization took about. That's my son keep calling me. I'll call him back, but yeah, man, and he done made me lose my train of thought.
No, you were saying that Africa, and that's a good point too. Africa is rich with raw material as far as what we need to build and maintain an infrastructure. And I hear that a lot, and that's definitely a true statement. But the thing is, Kofi, and what I don't think, not particularly you, but what people don't realize is the amount of money and the machinery it takes to pull this material out of the ground, and not only pull the raw material, because you're talking raw material, just pulling that raw material out of the ground. But once you got that raw material out of the ground, you have to refine that raw material. You see what I'm saying? And that's where the costs come in at, and that's where the skill come in. The refining part is where the skill and the cost come in at, and that's where it falls off the wagon, because you can't get nobody to do that kind of stuff for cheap or for free. You know what I'm saying? Like that machinery that it takes to do that, you're talking millions of dollars. One of them machines, you know what I'm saying? I'll talk to you about a dredge machine.
Right.
You're talking $500,000. You know what I'm saying? And that ain't you. And just to maintain it, these machines have to be maintained. You're talking about another $50,000 for every year, or so often. If one thing break on it. You know what I'm saying? It's $40,000 bill. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of money that goes into that, and so yeah, Africa does they are rich with raw material, but the government has to understand that they have to invest in the machinery to refine it, because what they're doing is they'll subcontract that out to China.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Chinese will come in and they got all their big old machinery and actually we buy the machinery from China. I work with a machine. It's a curb machine. It helps us build curb all the way down the highway, right? It's called a Kameko. That's a Chinese name. It's a Chinese company. You know what I'm saying? And that curb machine costs like $500,000. So, you know, like I said, China, they come into Africa and they already got their machinery to come in and not only to pull it out of the ground, the raw material, but to refine that raw material. And so I think that's where what the government has to understand is you got to be able to spend some money to take things into your own hands. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, the subcontracting, the allowing, you know, different people to come in to help you pull this stuff and refine it is costing you money. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
then you can't make. So you know what I'm saying? Like if a diamond costs $1,000, you know the country can't make that $1,000 off of it. You know the country only can make 200 off of it because they got to chop it up with China. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it ain't even worth really pulling that diamond. It's not worth it to Ghana to even pull the diamond out of the ground. You know what I mean? Because you got to give it away for next to free, you know? So, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. Yeah, man. Let's get into this atheism thing, man. Anti means against, right? And theos or theos is the Greek word for God.
Absolutely.
So you know, kind of you know, walk us through your journey in becoming an atheist, because you know, right now, you know, in my, you know, where I'm at, you know what I'm saying? We talked about that the other day, and people will understand it once they, I'm not trying to plug my book, but, you know, my new book that's coming out, I talk about that at the end of the book, because a lot of people know that, you know, for the last 5 years, I've been going hard in West Africa, and continue to go hard in West Africa, you know, so I bring out a lot of the different ethnic groups and a lot of their, indigenous traditions that we are calling Kimoyo now. And you know, at one particular time I was practicing, but I wasn't a part of an Ile, which is a temple. I'm in Mississippi, so there's not even one close to me, so for me to even join, but I was just practicing on my own for what I knew, and that was Isheshe. A lot of people know it as Ifa. And but I done talked about a lot of different African traditions, and even I took elements from different traditions, far as Esheshe, far as Okume and Ghana. You mentioned Ghana because I'm my mother's part of the family. We come from out of Ghana. On my mother's side comes from out of Ghana, so I took parts of you know, Okume. And you know, other things, even in East Africa, with the Chui people, the Gulu Wankulu tradition. So I implemented those certain things that I like. I picked, and I just started being a practitioner of that in my thing. But over time of me studying, I've been studying stuff, African traditions, and just the people and the psychology of the people for a long time. Especially when I started dealing with the language and the psychology of the people, it changed my perspective. And I end up going down the realm of where y'all at, especially with the Pseudo Killers. I know, you know, y'all are non-believers over there, and y'all y'all firm with that, and y'all let people know, hey, we non-believers over here, man. We atheists over here. And let me see if I got I may have it on here, I may not. I tried. I don't. But I just wanted to get a term of what atheism is. I thought I wrote it down, typed it on here, because I be trying to I always try to get clarity for people, because people, come on here. We know what it is, but a lot of people that's viewing now or maybe viewing later on in the archive, they may not know some of these words that we throwing out. What the heck is atheism? People may not know what atheism is, or may not know what some of the things that you've been talking about. So I'll be just trying to clarify what Kimoyo is. But just going down there and studying psychology, it kind of put me on the path for like where y'all at. And I'm, for people that may not know now, I'm agnostic. I'm a soft atheist. I'm not all the way hardcore like Brother Cory and Brother Unc and a few other people. I think I am Sosa, who's a part of the Pseudo Killers. Shout out to I am Sosa. He's in the chat also. But he's an agnostic too. He's soft. He's a soft believer. As I am. And we believe that there's nothing that, there's we're not against saying that there's a God. Well, we don't have a belief. We don't have a belief, and you have to prove things to us. So we on the fence. So, but y'all are hard atheists. Can you walk us through the journey of how you became an atheist, man, at one time? Because I know you look like you was a hardcore Christian at one time, brother. So,
well, I was brought up in the Christian church. You know what I'm saying? My grandmother, she was very firm on us about going to church every Sunday with her. As I grew up through elementary school, some through middle school, I stopped kind of going with her a little bit through middle school, but really I couldn't get away that much. Once I got to high school, I really wasn't into church anymore at that point. You know what I'm saying? Now, my dad, I was mostly raised by my dad, and like, just thinking back, I remember talking to the panel a while ago about this. Just as I look back, my dad never mentioned God to me ever in my life. I don't think until I became an adult. Like, I could never remember him saying anything about religion or God or anything like that. I never asked him about it. I mean, he always, like I said, he made sure I went to my grandmother's house, and he made sure that, I went to church and all that, but like, he never dealt with it, and he never mentioned that to me. And so, like I said, I kind of grew up as a Christian. I went to Christian camp, needless to say, I smoked my first joint at Christian camp. You know what I'm saying? just to throw that out there at everybody, But I always think that's kind of funny to share with people. But I just, as I got older, I didn't even think about religion as I got older until, like, after high school, into my, being a 21-year-old and all that. I never really thought about it. And then after a while, I thought about it, and I figured, okay, well, I should, if I believe this, then I should get an understanding of it, and I should try to get closer to God. And through my reading and trying to get closer to God and understand it, I read myself right on out of it. You know what I mean? And I couldn't bring myself to actually believe it once I actually got a grasp, a little bit of an understanding of it. And then, I started to read other books, like some of the books by Neil deGrasse Tyson, Lawrence Krauss. One book that stands out to me by Richard Dawkins is called The Blind Watchmaker. I read The Blind Watchmaker, and basically all the questions that I had that was making me kind of hold on to the religion. In that book, he basically highlighted those questions and he knocked them all down one by one as I read through that book, you know. So by the time I was done with that book, I was an atheist, but I didn't know it yet, you know. And I got another book by him, by Richard Dawkins. It's called the God Delusion. And no, it wasn't. It was not. I hadn't read that yet. The very next book was called The Greatest Show on Earth, and that was written by Richard Dawkins. And I mean, by the time I closed that book, I was definitely an atheist after that. But yeah, and I mean, I watched a lot of YouTube debates with religious people and their arguments, and I kind of, after a while, after you watch the debates, you see how religious people have the same argument over and over. It's basically the God of the gaps argument, and that kind of, you know, it kind of gets obvious to you after you read and you watch so many of these debates. So I just couldn't hang on to it no more, and basically I educated myself out of that superstition, that belief, in so many words.
Yeah, and a lot of people, if they go back and study how what we call in religion, spirituality, how a lot of these things was created, then they'll have an understanding. They'll have a kind of grasp understanding of your worldview, of how, you know, my worldview has changed, because I understand. And I done talked about it before, but I ain't gonna really get into it. You know, they can get the book if they want to understand, because I go through, I walk them through mythology, you know, and give them an understanding of what mythology is, and even how you look at different, if you study different geographical locations, some of the geographical locations that are just taking particular, just look at Africa, you have some of the similar things in the culture. You know what I'm saying? In their indigenous traditions, you have some of the similar things for us, like pouring libations. You have honoring the ancestors. You know, you have sacrifice, in which, you know, most cultures have sacrifices, there's different things. So you have similar things, but a lot of it is the same, but a lot of it is different. And the differences is because of the geographical location. So these people and nature. So nature has a lot to do with what these people perceive and how they begin to answer certain things and come up with what we call in religion or spirituality, because of what Mother Nature was doing to them and what they were seeing in Mother Nature. You know what I'm saying? So, and the stories that they developed around the things that was happening around their surroundings, you know, which created these mythos or these mythologies. So, and I talk about a lot of it in my book that's coming out, so people can understand, because when I get to the back, I tell them how my perception changed, and I'm now an agnostic because of the studying of certain things that I study, and studying the psychology and the geographical locations of where these people are and the mindsets and how they begin to answer some of the things that they have. So now you get the natural, then now how the supernatural became things that you see, because I don't believe anything exists outside of the natural phenomenon, you see. And I believe that excuse me. I believe that nothing is known, known about the nature or the existence of God outside of the natural phenomenon. So, you know, that's what made me become an agnostic by studying these certain things. So I think, you know, if people start to study these things, they will have a better perspective. But I don't knock people that do it, and if they do, I say, you know, go back to, you know, find something. You know, if you from Ghana, you from Nigeria, you know, you from Togo or Benin, study voodoo. Study study voodoo. We know we don't get the voodoo until you get to Haiti and so forth. But study voodoo. You know what I'm saying? Study Akumi. Study Odinani. Study Esheshe. Study those things if that's where your ancestors come from. It's nothing wrong with learning about those things, studying those things, and even taking some of those valuable lessons that you can and put it into practice in your own life where if it makes you better, if it makes you better. But I just have a problem with the Western standpoint, you know what I'm saying? The Christianity, Islam, those different sects of Islam, Judaism, those different sects of Judaism, which came way later, you know what I'm saying? And if you want to endow, like I said, go back to your roots, go back to your roots and study something that your ancestors actually studied, not something that your ancestors was actually forced upon when you start to study how blacks became Christians. When you go look in Ethiopia, when you go look in the Congo area, when you go look in West Africa, when you look in the Caribbeans and what happened when we got over here to North America and etc. Or, studying particular time periods in the 17th century, with the Arabs and 14th century and the 13th century with the Arabs and the certain things that they put in place and how black folks became, Islamed out. So, but anyway, man.
And see, that's why, one thing about human beings is we're gonna come up with some answers, Kofi. Humans, they're not comfortable with saying I don't know. It's I don't think it was conducive for the conditions, 150,000 years ago back in the savannah in Africa. You know what I'm saying? The people who believed are the people who survived. So those are the genes you actually have, Kofi. Is everybody who alive has the genes from the people who believed that it was a lion rustling in the bushes in the savannah. You know what I'm saying? The ones who was the curious ones, they didn't make it because it's just not, it's life ain't conducive to be curious in the middle of the savannah 150,000 years ago. You see what I'm saying? But in today's world, that's a hindrance. And see, this is why I'm an anti-theist. And like you said, I like when you said earlier, I don't mind if you indulge in your beliefs or whatever, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, as long as you're an adult. See, where my anti-theism comes in at is when we teach that to the ignorant or to the babies. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be. I think we here in 2021, right? And we have to have intelligent answers for the big questions. You know what I'm saying? So when my daughter asks me, Daddy, why is the sky blue? I can't. I think it's child abuse to tell my daughter, well, that's the way that God wanted the sky. You see what I'm saying? I should be able to tell her about the water molecules and the different molecules that's in the air and how they act like a prism when the sunlight hits them and you're on a certain plane and it gives off a certain color. This is why sometimes when the sun is in one position, the sky is orange, or you might see a pink sky or this because of the molecules that are in the air. I should be able to tell my daughter that intelligent answer rather than telling her, well, God did it. See, because that stops her curiosity. Because what question is she going to ask next? It's no other questions to ask. You know what I'm saying? So when I tell, my daughter, she very, very, she's 6. She's 6 years old. So she asks questions about everything. You know what I mean? And one question leads to another question, which leads to another question and leads to another question. Next thing you know, she only asked me about the color of the sky. Now we way out in the cosmos talking about how stars have developed. You see what I'm saying? Due to the line of questioning that she's given me. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But you kill that curiosity when you put God into the picture, because not even I can question God. You see what I'm saying? So let alone my daughter, if daddy can't question God, if daddy can't ask why did God did this, and how come God don't do it this way, or you know what I'm saying? If daddy can't ask that, then my 6-year-old can't ask that. So that cuts her level of inquisitiveness off. You know, it cuts her level of scientific, because you know, when kids are that small, they ain't nothing but little scientists. You know what I'm saying? Especially from the ages of like 1 year old all the way up to like 8 years old. You know, they want to touch things. They want to see what it do. You know what I'm saying? They want to see what it smell like. They want to see what it do when you push it. Or, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
When you pour some water on it. You know, when you invoke this authority figure, you see what I'm saying, over them, it keeps them from being that inquisitive. You know what I'm saying? It keeps them from wanting to take those scientific journeys, and it keeps us, me and my daughter, from having those conversations. You see what I'm saying? That we have for hours on end. You know what I mean? Because if I just said, God did it, then the conversation is over with. You see what I'm saying? And I just think, to me, that's where my anti-theism comes from. It is anti-intellectual. It's anti-academic. It's anti-progressive. And the last thing the Black community needs is something that's anti-progressive. You see what I'm saying? Because we already have issues with our progression within society. So we need to do away with or disabuse ourselves from some of these isms and schisms and the rest of them. You know what I mean?
That's a fact, man. Because you breaking down and you talking about the sky. I learned that from Neil deGrasse, man. Neil deGrasse.
My man.
Reading in one of his books, man. And that's how I try to do with my son, because with my son, try to explain it too, instead of saying, and if I don't know, I tell him I don't know. Absolutely. I don't say God did it. I say I don't know, but I'm gonna get back with you, son. You just put me. I say you put me out on a mission, son. Yeah. I always tell him he put me on a mission. So I go on a mission, and I make that my mission to find out and come back and give him an intelligent answer. Instead of saying, nah, that's what God did. God did such and such.
I tell my daughter the same thing. You know what? Daddy don't know, but all my kids, I tell them all the same thing. I don't know, but we gonna find out. You know what I'm saying? I make that a task for both of us to find out, and we come back to the table. So what did you find? And I tell them what I found on said subject. You know what I mean? And so that we have a understanding. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way to do things, Kofi. You know what I mean? And we, like you said, we should all be doing that with our kids. I think it's, like I said, man, putting religion in it, I think that's child abuse. I don't think you can abuse a child. I mean, you're taking a child's imagination is basically what they have.
I think Anisha just said the same thing. I'm trying to go back. I was trying to stroll back. I think Anisha mentioned the same thing when you were talking earlier. When you put God in and bring religion in, that's child abuse. It really is, because I have a distaste, a disdain for the word belief, because that's what they normally like to use, belief and faith. And belief is accepting something without knowing. Belief is surrendering to something without facts, proof, and evidence. Again, belief is surrendering to something without facts, proof, and evidence. And I don't want to live my life like that, or have my kids to live like that in a belief where they don't have the facts, they don't have the proof, they don't have the evidence.
And you know what, Kofi, not to cut you off, but the whole belief thing, and I'm glad you brought that up, because what they do is they use that as a virtue. You see what I'm saying? But there's something called the null hypothesis. This is where when you get into the scientific realm, you know, it's called the null hypothesis. So what the null hypothesis is about is the way I start out, I'm starting out not believing. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe my own eyes. I don't believe my own ears. I have to check and make sure. You know, you ever do something, Kofi, and you be like, I know I did that, but I just want to go and make sure. You
Right.
see what
Oh,
I'm saying?
I do it all the time.
Because
All
you're
the time.
fallible. The thing is, we are fallible people. We make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So it's always going to be safe. You're always going to be safe, Kofi, when you take the null hypothesis, when you don't think, you know what? I know for sure I put it in the car. I'm going to go ahead and drive off 2 hours away without even checking. You know what I'm saying? But you knew for sure you did it. You know what I mean? But see, it keeps you safer. It keeps you in a better place to have that peace of mind. So to start out with the default position is not to believe. You know what I mean? And the crazy part about it, Kofi, every single Christian, every single Jewish person, and every believer lives by the null hypothesis. You see what I'm saying? They go through day-to-day life living by the null hypothesis. They have to, because if they didn't live by the null hypothesis, people be getting over on them all the time. You see what I'm saying? Well, let me I'll sell you this diamond. Let me sell you this diamond. The diamond is real. I need $20,000 for it. You know what I'm saying? Now, the null hypothesis is to believe, hold on, I'm finna spend $20,000. I don't believe that. I'm not going to believe him just because he said it's real. You see what I'm saying? So they go through life living by the null hypothesis. You don't go and buy a car without test driving the car, Kofi. That's because you live your day-to-day life by the null hypothesis. You don't believe. You start out not believing. You know what I'm saying? And so it's not a virtue to me when they come and try to when they switch it to their religion. It's not a virtue to me that you cut reality off. You know what I'm saying? Because in reality, you live by the null hypothesis. And then when you come into this religious thing, now it's a virtue to believe, to just have faith. Now that's the thing that makes you virtuous or whatever. So I think that's a load of BS, Kofi. I'm with you. I just don't even. I think they took over the word belief, because belief, it's all right to believe sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you're in a position where you don't have no choice but to believe. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. When your lawyer tell you, you know what, we want to go in here and we're gonna do this, this, and this, and this. Guess what? I mean, I didn't pass the bar. I'm in a position to believe my lawyer. You know what I'm saying? I'm in, you know what I mean? When the person that came and fixed your washer, you know, and he say, well, it's gonna cost $20, it's gonna cost $35 because you got to put this part on it. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know about washers, and you know what I'm saying? If he tell me, you know, hey, this the party guy, I'm in a position to believe him. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
You know, sometimes all we have to do is be in a position to believe. But as far as day-to-day life and how life works and where life comes from and how the earth was made and all that, we don't need to be in a state of belief anymore. We have the tools and the technology to answer those questions.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. Man, let me see. Oh man, we running out of time. We in an
It's
hour
all good.
34 minutes, man.
It's all good. I wanted to plug a few books, Kofi. Let me run
Yeah, go get them.
and I'm gonna grab a couple books real quick. Gonna take me 2 minutes.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna share my screen real quick on some y'all. Let me share my screen while he go get those books. Be real quick, and we'll talk about astrophysics just for a few minutes, man. Like I said, I'll be trying to keep these shows an hour and a half, and sometimes we run over the mark. We was doing pretty good at one time with that, but I'm kind of been what's wrong with my mouse? Been running over a little bit. We're gonna end the show in a minute. We're gonna talk about astrophysics for a second. He's gonna show some of these good books dealing with astrophysics, but why he's getting that. This is an old flyer, but y'all be seeing this. I redid the flyer and added some more names in the entertainment. But here, again, for people that may not know, and then I wanted to put the other flyer on here, but I forgot to put the other flyer on here with LaDosha, and Raku Ishu on here. But I'm gonna repost both this one, the updated one, this one, and the one I posted last week, and I have a new one that I got. I'll be posting tomorrow, and I'll be tagging a lot of people in. But for people that may not know, this Friday, June the 25th, I have a new book, Beautiful Lessons About Kimoyo. I kind of talked about it a little bit during the interview, but the book will be out. The virtual book release celebration, which we'll be having a release celebration on the Pseudo Killers channel. I have about 25 guests that's going to be on the panel that'll be speaking. Some of your favorite scholars, some of your favorite teachers, some of your favorite people in this so-called conscious community be on that panel. Unc West and Sister LaDosha will be hosting the show, so they'll be hosting the show, making sure everything is, doing that hosting thing, making sure everything is going to plan to what I got typed up. We got some entertainment, Brother Raka Ishu, with from the group Raka and Musa. He'll be there. He'll be performing 2 songs. I can't think of the name of the songs. I got it typed up on my itinerary. Brother Okunfu is also a member of the Mossi Warrior Clan. He's got a few slide presentations that'll be doing there. I'll be reading some inserts and having the Q&A about the book. I'll be giving away. Right now. I may do 2, but right now I'm giving away 1 book, and I got some shirts. Beautiful Lessons About Kimoyo. They look just like the book cover. The shirt look just like the book cover. So I'll be giving away one of those shirts. So we'll be having a quiz and answer in order for you to win. But I may give away 2 shirts and give away 2 books. But right now I'm only giving away 1 book and 1 shirt. But we'll see once we get there. Brother Cory is back right now. But again, y'all, tune in at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this Friday for the book release celebration. You don't want to miss it. Like I told you, we're going to have some powerful people on the panel. You can look at all the flyers and see the people that I'm going to have on the panel. Like I said, Brother Concrete Cory is also one of my guests that's going to be on the panel speaker. We're going to allow everybody to speak on the panel, you know what I'm saying, be involved in the celebration. So y'all tune in. If you hadn't subscribed to Cory's Pseudo Killers channel, please go to the Pseudo Killers channel and subscribe to the channel. I guarantee it's going to be a nice event. You don't want to miss this. But let me stop sharing my screen, and Brother Cory got some books. Hold on, let me stop sharing real quick. Stop sharing. All right. I'm going to enlarge the screen.
So like we was talking earlier, you say you like Neil deGrasse Tyson. You got to get this Welcome to the Universe. Great piece of work, man. Great piece of work. And all of the graphs and, you know what I'm saying, everything he talked about. Everything he talked about, he always got graphs and some type of visual for you. You know what I'm saying? So it's very, very intuitive, the way he wrote this book. He not going over your head. Also, this is by Neil deGrasse Tyson too. Origins. This is more of a more of an academic book. I would say it's not so. He got a lot of pictures and graphs in here, but this is one that take a little bit of time to understand some of the jargon and everything. But also, he got an index back here which kind of goes over some of the terminology and all that too in the back of the book. So that's good.
I'm definitely gonna have to get that. Like I said, I own two of his books, and I need to get the other book, man. While you sharing the books, let me go back on you.
That's that CMB. That cosmic. See, when people be like, have we seen everything? So that's everything in the observable universe, right there. That's
radiation
everything
and all, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you know what I mean. I just wanted to point that out to people, but
why you sharing the books, man? You know, why you sharing the books, man? We probably gonna be on here in a few more minutes. I see my brother Sutek from Kofi Piesie Research Team jumped in. He may want to ask you something, and then I just see do it every time.
He always jump in. He gonna
link.
Jump in.
Yeah, the link is in the chat, Unc. If you still want to jump in, the link is in the chat. We'll wait on you to jump in. I think Sutek, you said you sent him the link too, right?
Yeah, I sent them the link.
Okay,
peace, brother Sutek. Peace to you.
Yeah. Peace, Cory, man. Appreciate you for coming, man, and we appreciate the effort that you put into helping our community become more scientifically literate, man. We appreciate that, bro.
No doubt. It's a pleasure of mine, man. It's a pleasure of mine.
I just wanted to ask, what do you feel about astrology? I just had a little debate with a brother about
and smashed it. Tell him you smashed. I'm talking about it was a first round knockout. He didn't even have to go through with the rest of the debate. But
astrology is a pseudoscience. I think, man. I think people try to be amazed. They want to be amazed, but the thing is, and I say this to Uncle all the time. Reality is more amazing than anything you can imagine, man. Reality is more amazing than anything you can imagine. So when you really study the actual stars, when you really do actual astronomy, you're going to be more amazed than what anybody can make up in that astrology. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a waste of time, and I don't see a purpose in it or whatever. I guess it's a money maker. I don't know. Some people might make money off of it.
It is, but it's gonna be hard, Cory. It's gonna be hard to get them women off of astrology. I mean, and that's where our women wrapped them. They is wrapped up in astrology. Don't understand that it is a pseudoscience. They don't understand.
It's okay to have some fun. Like with I'm a Cancer, I guess. You know what I'm saying, as far as that goes, and and I guess it's okay to have some fun or whatever. But I think that's for the 15-year-olds at the lunch table, 15-year-old girls, at the lunch table, in high school. When you become an adult, I think we ought to get out of that trying to look for somebody that's compatible as far as what month they was born. How about how much money they make per year? You know what I'm saying? Whether they had a daddy in their life or not. You know what I'm saying? What kind of medicine do you take? Is you crazy or what? That's how we figure out whether each other is compatible. You know what I'm saying? Actually have a conversation and get to know one another.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So astrology is just a pseudoscience. And I'm glad you brought that up, because like I said, if you want to be amazed by the stars and things like that, actually get into the real work. This is called The Greatest Story Ever Told So Far, written by Lawrence M. Krauss. Great book. I mean, this is one of those books that turned me away from theology or whatever. Richard Dawkins, The Greatest Show on Earth. I recommend getting both of these, because this one takes you out to the cosmos. This one puts you here, keeps you here on Earth right here. You know what I'm saying? And it's showing you how life, after life developed, how it evolved, and the wonders of life. And Richard Dawkins, he one of the great writers, man.
You got it on where you got those, on Amazon?
Yep, I bought these on Amazon. I usually get a hard copy. I don't think that was available in this one. This is a very popular one right here by Richard Dawkins.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna order.
But I
when
always
I get
get
off.
I always get the audio. Every book that I own, most of the books that I own are audio books. I find it, I can grasp it better when I'm reading it. And the thing I like about Richard Dawkins and Lawrence Krauss and Neil deGrasse Tyson, their voices are on the audio books, so they read their own books. So I really like that about that. Two other books that I recommend getting these together. This is one of the ones by Richard Dawkins again, The Blind Watchmaker. I mean, all of the things. If we got somebody in the audience that's on the fence with religion and all those questions that you got that's still not being answered, Richard gonna go ahead and knock that off for you real quick. Adam by Lawrence M. Krauss. Great book. It talks about the quantum field and how particles work. He one of the top particle physicists in the world, Lawrence Krauss. So I really recommend this one. And I always recommend this to get you out of some of your pseudo thoughts. Because everybody got some superstitions left in them. So this book here, Weird Earth, yeah, this will knock it down, knock the rest of that pseudo off of you. You know what I mean? So them was just a few books I wanted to just share with people in case they wanted to know like what I'm reading. I'm also subscribed to Nature, the magazine. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm subscribed to that. You know what I'm saying? The Pseudo Killers is subscribed to Nature, the magazine. So, you know, we up on all of the latest. You know what I mean? I get one of these per week. So all of the latest information on all of the latest breakthroughs, the Pseudo Killers is up on it. You know what I mean? Way before the average pseudo is. So, you know, just wanted to put that out there. Peace to everybody on the panel.
What's going on, brother? How you doing, man? Good.
What up, Uncle Unc? That's my uncle, y'all. If y'all don't know, that's my favorite uncle, Uncle Unc.
Yeah, relegating the uncle status. Hey, the uncle. Is it the drunk uncle or I'm a little mixture. The drunk uncle, crazy uncle.
Just the crazy one. You just the crazy one. That's it.
The crazy one. You know you can always he crazy. You know he crazy as hell. But if you want some real ism, you want some real spill, I know Unc gonna be talking crazy to me. But man, he give it to me real, man. Let me go over here and talk to Unc about this, man. He gonna make me laugh. He gonna talk some mess. He gonna give it to me real. Yeah, he gonna keep it 100.
Every time.
No, we ain't got time. We raising kids over here, man.
Yeah.
Hey, it's been a great interview y'all got going on too, man. I
appreciate that.
The conversation and just the development, man, of fathers, man. Like I think that's crucial for our community to develop strong fathers that ain't stuck in no damn religion. I'll never forget when one of my babies was getting christened, right? And that's funny right there. A Christian, that ain't even in the Bible. But what I did with my family was I used to give and take. So okay, I'm gonna let y'all do the christening, right? But I'm gonna do the voodoo ceremony. That was always my thing, right? Not to say I believed in it, but I was pulling something from the ancestors to show the family that I walked through this bitch without no fear. Excuse my language. Mm-hmm. So we do the voodoo ceremony, right? And then when it's time to do the Christian ceremony, the preacher would always cross the line, right? He would always say something out of his mouth. Good parents raise their kids with Jesus Christ. I was like, we got to stop right here. You do the first shot, Rev. I said I was up there. I did everything I was supposed to do. I talked it. I had the priest. Voodoo priest. We did that, but nobody said nothing about your raggedy ass religion. I said, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep it moving, but knock it off because then I'm just gonna have to get you in front of everybody. Everybody laughing. Oh, he just been here. So they kept going. He took out some water. I'll never forget it. I was gonna put it on my baby's head, some oil. But I had asked him before we did it. Look, dog, don't put no foreign substances on my kid's head. I don't mind you praying, but don't touch, You know what I'm saying? You know, the babies is precious when they first come into the world.
Yeah,
Don't
no
be
doubt.
putting no Kroger oil on their forehead, acting like it's some medicinal spiritual power. Now, we're not gonna play that game. I'm gonna let you act like it, but don't, man, he took that and went to, I said, check this out, bro. You doing too much. See, I say, now you crossed the line. So we got into it. I was like, yo, the ceremony is over with. I don't believe that garbage anyway. He threw the first shot talking about good parents, raising kids. I said, that's a bunch of bullshit. My grandmother over there looking, my mother and them looking, everybody looking like, man, they call me Bobby West, obese. So they like, man, boy, he letting it fly again, right? And when I seen everybody was kind of breaking down, because they deeply religious and all that, yo, I gave them a reprieve. My aunt and them started crying. I said, you know what? I was just playing as far as not letting y'all finish your little ceremony, but carry on. I say, but watch that fool with the red shoes on. Everybody was like, yo, you crazy as hell. Because Rev had on some red shoes. I called him Rev Pork Chop with the red shoes. They were like, oh, man. And I let them do their thing, but I say this to say that in today's world, man, responsible fathers, you know what I'm saying, answers questions that can only be answered through science with their kids using science. It's and I like it. It's child abuse, like you say, bro, to lie to them in their face about the origins of the sun and how it works and the gases emitting from the sun. It's child abuse, and it puts them in a position of not being able to compete on a stage that's governed by science, bro. So
absolutely,
that's why we fall behind, because we bring Stone Age religion to the table, thinking we're gonna compete an enemy that's in the space age. I just wanted to just put it out there. I thought that was a lovely message, man, for fathers and how to raise their kids, bro.
Oh yeah.
Definitely, man. It's like I said, the babies is where it's at. I was telling Kofi, as far as my anti-theism, that's where it's at. It's not with the grown folks. I can't tell Kofi what to believe, or I can't tell Unc what to believe. Y'all grown men, or Sutek. I can't tell y'all what to believe, but I can definitely inform you that telling your kids to be dependent upon some type of belief or faith-based system, that is child abuse in my eyes. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to keep it like that, and just let that be known as far as where I'm coming from with the anti-theism. You know what I'm saying?
You don't feel like keeping them on the case.
So shoot, Unc, you got something else, man? If you ain't got nothing else, man, we gonna end the show. We were gonna end it a few minutes ago.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you end it. Maybe we can just go to the Pseudo Killers. We ain't been live in a while, man. You know
Yeah. We can crack one off over there.
Yeah.
Ain't no thing. If y'all wanna come over there. If anybody and Kofi, I mean, if you had some questions from the audience, if they wanted to, I don't know if you was looking or not, because I wasn't looking, but if anybody had something from the audience that they wanted to ask me about anything, atheism, infrastructure, astrophysics, whatever, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And while you getting that together, let me ask Mercury retrograde. What is that, and does it have an effect on our lives?
Mercury retrograde? I don't think I'm familiar with that. You got to educate me on that. Mercury, you talking about the element Mercury?
Not a planet.
The planet.
Oh, the planet Mercury. Oh, Mercury. I don't think it's gonna have any effect on it. What was the question again?
Mercury retrograde. Well, let me explain what it is then.
Okay, yeah, you gotta explain it too.
It's basically the illusion of the planet going backwards. Right. So
it actually is going backwards. I think Mercury is the rotation of Mercury.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Astronomers say that it's an illusion, but it's people in the community that feel like it has an effect on it. It's mostly females, you know what I'm saying? The same ones that with the astrology. They feel like it has an effect.
No. Yeah, Mercury is too far away for it to be influenced by our gravity or for us to be influenced by its gravity or anything like that. So
Right.
it wouldn't have no effect like that. The only way Mercury could affect us is to have some type of influence as far as gravitational fields go, and we're just too far apart for that to go. I mean, you have to be as close as the moon. The moon is only 200,000 miles away from us, and the moon has it's bound by Earth's gravitational pull. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, outside of that, like, Mars is the next closest thing, and Mars don't affect Earth or nothing like that as far as gravitational pulls or nothing like that. But you know, like I said, I'm always into some to new science. You know what I'm saying? They may know something that I'm not familiar with. I haven't heard any of that. So you know, I'm not familiar with that at all, though.
Nah, as far as I know, your household appliances got more effect on you than just Mercury.
Absolutely. Like I said, the only way that Mercury would have an effect on anything on Earth is through gravitational pull, the gravitational influence, and we way too far away to have any influence on it, or it can't have no influence on us.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if that's it, man, we gonna end the show, man, brother. Concrete Cory, man, I definitely appreciate, man, you coming back on, man. It's your second time on the platform. You know, you more than welcome, man. You family now, bro. You family, man. So
No doubt,
we
man. I appreciate it, man. It was a good interview. I appreciated all the questions, man. There were some great questions you asked. So, and questions, topics, and issues that I kind of like to highlight, and that matters to me. So I really appreciate those questions that you asked.
No problem, man. Like, no problem, man. Like I said, man, you welcome back here, man. At you know, at any time, man. And you know, I always say this, man. I just always, you know, I appreciate you, brother. Man, I tell that to people all the time. To people that you know, I fool with, man. You know what I'm saying, and value, man. I always let them know, man. I appreciate them, man. I value, man. I appreciate, man, what you do, man. You know, I appreciate you, man, for being a man, man. I appreciate you, man, for, you know, taking care of your family. I appreciate you for, you know, being, you know, careful, you know, with your information, man. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, man. You know, for doing the interview. You could have told me no, man, but you was like, yeah, man, Kofi,
I couldn't tell you no, Kofi. I couldn't have told you no.
Yeah, so man, I appreciate it, man. I asked you, man. You know, I forgot, you know, I forgot to hit you the other week, man. I said, man, I forgot to hit you the other week, man. I'm inviting, even though it's on your show, it's on your platform, it's on the Pseudo Killers, but I still want to extend the invitation, because I'm extending the invitation to people that I appreciate, you know, people that I honor, appreciate, I value. And you was like, man, when is it? And I told you, you like, I'm there, Kofi. I appreciate that too, man. I definitely appreciate that. You could have said, man, no, I got something else going on, man. But you said, man, I definitely, man, I'll be there, Kofi, man. So
definitely, man. I definitely want to support, man, in any way I can, man. So, you know, no doubt, man.
I appreciate it, man. So I said, well, I've been messing up, man. I know the ancestors probably trying to set in the grave, man. I always give them honor and praise, man, at the beginning of the show, and I always welcome people in with peace. But I normally say ETM Hotel, which means bring forth peace. But you know, we finna pause. So I want to say Shemim Hotel. Shemim Hotel just means to depart in peace. You know, I hope everybody continue to have a great day. Again, happy Father Day to and I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say happy Father Day to those who are actually being fathers. You know, I mean, this is, you know, not to the deadbeat dads. You know, I'm not. We have a lot. You know, we got to work on that too, definitely in our community. You know, fathers not being there for their kids, but happy Father Day to the real fathers, those who are actually in their children's life, those who are actually providing for their family, for their kids. You know, happy Father Day for those men who are actually setting the right example. You know, in their community and in their household, man. So happy Father Day to you gentlemen, man. So man, peace and Black African power. I guess they gonna come back soon on the Pseudo Killers. I'll hop down there for a few minutes, man. Again, appreciate you, brother Concrete Cory. If y'all hadn't subscribed to the channel, please go and subscribe now to Kofi Piesie TV. If you hadn't subscribed to the Pseudo Killers, go subscribe to the Pseudo Killers. They doing some good things over there. I rock with them. Ain't too many platforms I look at, but Pseudo Killers is definitely one of those things. They got to get on Unc though. Unc got to stop these 9 and 10 hour shows. But again, man, go subscribe to those channels and definitely, man, come out Friday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time to the Pseudo Killer channel, man, where I'll be having my virtual book release / celebration hosted by Brother Unc West and Sister LaDosha Wright, entertainment by Rocker Issue, small PowerPoint presentation by our own Mossi Warrior Clan warrior Kung Fu. So man, on that note, man, peace and Black African power, man, and we'll see y'all the next time. Peace.
Peace. Happy Father's Day.